So they'll be calling you a radical. Oh boy, they're going at it today. They got 8 freaking trucks lined up, hauling dirt out of here. The new spent fuel pool. Weber State loves nuclear so much. I'm like, well, why don't you just turn it into a spent fuel pool? You know, you love it so much. So let's talk Uppy, the movie, the facts, the reality. Just remember one thing. Remember one thing about the movie, which, by the way, I'm the world's foremost expert on nuclearism. Bar none. I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. From birth. I've been battling I have AML leukemia de novo. I've beat it so far, but had open heart surgery twice. Birth defects from birth. My father nuked to death in the Nevada test site. I go on and on and on. My whole life. My whole life. And try me if you don't think I'm the world's expert. And I love the movie. I really love that movie. And so, it's a movie. It's not a documentary. It's a movie. Of course, there's freaking inaccuracies in the movie. It's a movie. So, let's talk Manhattan Project. Thus, Kevin, I invented the post-ignorance project, which is a counter to the Manhattan Project long, long ago. And so, let's talk. So, the producer, Nolan, comes out with really a great quote. I love that quote. You know, is it originally his quote? I doubt it, but he says, like it or not, we live in Oppenheimer's world. Oh, we all live in it. As I've called it for years, the great equalizer. It doesn't care. Now, let's talk about this, about Oppie and crew. I think the one thing people don't talk enough about is how they all died young of cancer. Well, Oppie died young of cancer. Oh, throat cancer. Well, he smoked. Okay, all right. What about Fermin? He died real young. Stomach cancer. I think a lot of people don't know this. The part of the Manhattan Project, of course, Wendover, Utah. You don't talk about it. Of course, we always talk about Y12, Y25, you know, Oak Ridge. That was the big boy. Tennessee, of course, Los Alamos, Wendover, Utah. How about New York City, Columbia University? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, a lot of people don't know it's the 1941 football team at Columbia. They used the football players to move the uranium around. That won't harm anybody. Well, I remember the All-American football player at Columbia back in those days was the coach at San Diego. They all ended up in San Diego and La Jolla, and they all died young. They all died young. You know, I always go back to, because I protested the Lawrence Livermore lab so much. Kamala Harris's mom died of cancer. She was an epidemiologist at Livermore. So, I'm always the keynote speaker in all the Senate Oprah hearings, have been for years and years and years and years. There's another guy that speaks there, and he's more, you think I'm radical and intense. Oh, that's Lawrence's grandson, Ernest Lawrence's grandson. Holy shit. Does he go off on all the nuclear fit? He just rips them to shreds. Lawrence was in pain for years and years and years. You know, he had the chronic disease in his gut. Killed him. Fermi died so young of cancer. I always say, and I'm just saying, because Jeff Bezos was born at Los Alamos. That's right, to a 14-year-old. Listen, the old Jeff Bezos, not the new Jeff Bezos. Doesn't the old Jeff Bezos look just like Fermi? So, our roads lead to Los Alamos. Oh boy. We all live in his world. Amen. Now, Zorro Ranchers out there? Yep. So, they're all died young. You know, the only thing in common that Oppie and Albert had, I'm a big Albert Einstein fan. I love Albert Einstein. My favorite. He couldn't stand Oppie. He couldn't stand the Manhattan Project. He couldn't stand the bomb. He couldn't stand any of it. He really hated nuclear energy. He was a peace activist. Still we ride. Who will survive? What a journey. Well, the sky keeps on turning. Who's crying now? You know, they all died young of cancer. I mean, nuclear radiated this entire place. How many open air tests in Nevada? My father, the drafted Marine, human lab rat, then I get cancer. I mean, my path was chiseled in stone before I was even freaking born. You know, that day, Air Blast 1, genetically altered that DNA forever. My dad's brother and sisters, none of them ever had cancer. My dad never had a cold and everything. My grandma used to call him her beautiful child, and that's saying a lot. She had good-looking kids. It's like my cousin said, told my son-in-law out there, he was out there doing some stuff, and he says, "You're Blanche, huh?" Yeah, yeah. And she looked right at him, and she says, "You know how you tell the Blanches in Weber County?" And he says, "Well, you know, I have one, my son." She says, "We're the good-looking ones." And she's a lot better looking than me, trust me. So, anyway, they all died so young. I mean, really young. I think we skip over that. It's like all these nuclear propagandists and these fools that perpetuate this scumbag. Which came first, the chicken, the nuclear chicken, or the nuclear egg? They all ended up in San Diego, in La Jolla. You know? Still we ride. Who will survive? So I dug this out today because I won't wear it because I hate them so bad anymore. But I thought, well, it's such a great piece, 1989, when Greenpeace was the shit. What happened? Same thing that happened to the rest of America. They took the flowers out of their hair and traded it for a shiny coffin in a house on the hill in La Jolla or whatever freaking place you are. They're sellouts. They're all sellouts, not me. I never change. It's in my eyes. So, we don't talk enough about it. It's a great quote, by the way. It's a hell of a movie. You know, you still hear people quoting that Germany had the bomb. Germany never had the bomb. Germany was never. Oppenheimer's own quote, his own words, over and over and over. If the Germans wanted it, they'd have it way before us. He knew full well, not only they didn't want it, they didn't even come close to having it. They didn't even try. That's Oppenheimer. He knew it. The communique came back in early 1943, the U.S. intelligence behind enemy lines. Baby never born, mother never pregnant. They were never interested. He knew that. He dropped it anyway. Oh, Oppie. And we said, Rick Perry and Jennifer Granholm, they're going to make nuclear sexy again. Doesn't she remind you of the mother in East of Eden? You know, the twins' mom? The way Steinbeck describes her. Oh, my God. She's a Sendai, and we're going to reinstate Oppie's. What? Oppenheimer's one of the most evil human beings who ever walked the face of the earth. The only one that could probably even be comparable to him is Truman. Truman. I mean, they all said no, including Leo. Leo moved to La Jolla and died young, cancer. He wrote the letter. I mean, Teller, he lived a long time. I know. He Stanford. You know, just like Lawrence. That's where they both. I mean, Stanford. You know, so the football field underneath it. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm an environmentalist. I'm an expert on nuclearism. Yay! The Chicago Pile. I'm a football guy. Who's Alonzo Stagg? I'm packing uranium canisters. 1941. Columbia Lions. I think they're the worst team in the Ivy League that year. I wonder why. Packing uranium canisters. So I said, who are you, Madame Curie? If you know what happened to Pierre, it wasn't Madame Curie from Ukraine. Oh yeah, Saravinsky, Balco on TV. Big denier. Oh yeah. Look up what happened to Pierre. Oh. They all died young of cancer except for Teller. You know, I was gonna get my cowboy hat on and ride Dr. Strangelove on Balco. You know, somebody was arguing with me at the university about, well, there's been another movie made, Fat Man and Little Man. And they're talking about this Michael Merriman. I said, What are you talking about? Well, the nuclear. Hello, that was a fictional movie. That character's completely made up. There's no such person. You know, Dr. Strangelove's a masterpiece, by the way. That's Teller riding this old cowboy hat. How good is he playing Teller in the movie? The acting's superb in that movie. It's a movie. It's a movie. It's a movie. It's not a documentary. Albert Einstein did not write that letter. Oppenheimer did not block him from being in the Manhattan. He would have never had anything to do with that project. He hated the bomb before there was the bomb. He was the big peace activist. They wanted no part of that dude. He would have never went near it. He hated all those people. He despised them all. He didn't invent the bomb. He didn't split. Joseph split the atom. And then Fermi collided the atom. Lonzo Stagg under the freaking football field at Chicago Pile in freaking University of Chicago. What about Columbia? And they're doing all that work there. Enriched uranium. Hanford, yay! The mega dairy right down freaking the river from Hanford. Get your freaking Timbuk cheese. Milk. When radiated stuff goes into dairy product, into a mammal, it comes out synergized. They all died young of cancer or something. I mean, Lawrence died young. He had the chronic intestinal painful disease. I mean, that's a nasty, nasty thing to live with. Christopher Nolan's quote is perfect. I'm sure he's not the first one that's ever said that, but it's great. We all live in his world. Oh boy, dude. It's the great equalizer, as I call it. Doesn't care about your socioeconomic status, doesn't care about your race, doesn't care about your sexuality, doesn't care about any of that. I call it the reverse lottery. I'm the world's foremost expert. The movie's a masterpiece. Do not kid yourself. He didn't write that letter. Teller's car. Teller drove him there in his car along. I twisted his arm till he signed it. Einstein said, I knew it was a mistake as soon as I signed it. He didn't want to anyway, but they turned on the Manhattan Project, didn't turn it off. That's the post-ignorance project. We're okay with nuclear energy, but we hate the bomb. The half nukers are the problem. They're pathetic. So Greenpeace, the problem. Greenpeace used to be good. Used to. Did. Could. Might. Is. All this language that conjunction function, what's your function? Consumption junkies, what's your function? Yay, the great American freaking etc. How come we don't see the footage of the carnage of Nagasaki and Fukushima? And Fukushima. And Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Still this day. The U.S. military has it. The movie doesn't show any of that. If the movie would have had that in it, we would have never seen the movie. I can guarantee you that. So, we know who runs the world. Freaking right down to your bone marrow. If Fukushima doesn't appear, USA Today, February after Putin invaded Ukraine, Madame Curie's home. What about Chernobyl? Oh, what about Santa Susana? Don't you cry for me. I came to Utah with low percent enough. What about Chalk River? What about the Polygon? Stage your troops there. Oh, it's just a burn pit. Oh, okay. Zarbamba. Oh, Balco. That's Andre Sopera. You want a real Nobel Prize. They were all anti-bomb after. Oppenheimer never apologized for dropping that bomb. Two of them. That little boy turned into one evil, fat, bloated out man. It's about the pork, it's money. Price Anderson, the Immunity Act. They all know it. Little SMR, it's just free pork and money. These guys are sick. They're sick in this imperialism, neo-feudalism that we've created in the United States over the last 40 years. We got Lord Bezos, we got Lord Gates, we got Lord Musk. We're all nuclear peasants. We're all nuclear indentured slaves, all of us, A to Z. Look how young all these guys died. Well, he smoked pie for Whoppy. Okay. He died young of cancer, Fermi, stomach cancer. I mean, these guys all died young except for Teller. How good does he play Teller in the movie, by the way? So, Greenpeace sold us down the river. They sold us out. So did Friends of the Earth. All of them. These environmental groups yet no one will fund Kevin Blanch because he's effective. The probably the most important, most accomplished activist, maybe in modern American history. The old USA, right here. What do I get? Still we ride. Who will survive? We're on the sky. It keeps on turning. What a fucking journey. Still we ride. Who's crying out? Sure, they all died incredibly miserable. Well, I know they did. You know, they admitted it. So, all right, Weber, you love nuclear so much. You know, you fund it, you grandstand it, you build it, you name buildings after it, endowments, everything after it, including the football field. Columbia Lions packing uranium in 1941. Football team. He ended up being the coach of San Diego State. He died young. The All-American player there. The Chicago Pile. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a dirt contractor. What's a bulldozer? I'm a duck. What's a pond? I'm a football enthusiast. Who's Alonzo Stagg? Wasn't he the coach at University of Chicago? Fun McKay Brody on Balco. Dr. Cooley on chemo. I have lots of ties at University of Chicago. Lots of them. Still we ride. I'm a zoologist. I'm a biologist. I work for NOAA. I'm an expert on nuclearism. I'm a Weber State science professor. What's Fukushima? Still we ride. Who will survive? What a fucking journey. The Post-Ignorance Project versus the Manhattan Project. Still we ride. Who will survive?